Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Right. Oh god. Well, something certainly happened, didn't it? At E3, you know, that show where lots of shit gets announced and gets us all excited. Whoa boy, something definitely happened, didn't it? Okay, so Xbox's E3 press conference, it was on like Sunday night there, I stood up to watch it. Microsoft's E3 press conference is the only one I ever get to watch, because Sony's, whenever it's on, is always on in the middle of the fucking night, and Nintendo's is on whenever I'm at work. Microsoft is the one that I usually don't like watching, even though there is usually some entertaining stuff in there, but for the most part it's like the company I care the least about. But anyway, I sat down with a friend and we started watching this, and for the most part it was really good. You know, it was good shit shown. They showed off the new Xbox a little bit. It was more of a tease really, but it's coming out next year. Tickety-boo. But then they drop this fucking like bombshell on my emotions and shit and announce Phantasy Star Online 2. And my initial reaction was one of overwhelming joy. The friend I was talking to at the time was actually going on about how happy he was that he caught my reaction to it, because yeah, I lost it. I was screaming. I was like, oh my god, this is... It's like, wow, Phantasy Star Online 2, that game, okay? Yeah, it's coming out in the West, and boy howdy, have I got an opinion on it. So that's what we're going to discuss. So, where the fuck to begin? Actually, before we begin, there's definitely something I want to bring up. Sega actually tweeted this out right here, just after the announcement, basically saying that it's only confirmed for North America and that they cannot confirm a European release at this time. This actually does not worry me, guys, because I can't imagine a world where Microsoft or Sega are stupid enough that they wouldn't allow us to... you know, us in Europe to play this game at some capacity, right? And at the very least, I'm definitely going to be playing this game on PC. And considering the fact that you can currently, by jumping through a shitload of hoops, play Phantasy Star Online 2 in English and connect to the Japanese servers, you know, it is possible to do. It's just a lot of work. I imagine it can't be that hard to connect to an American server when it finally comes up. And, you know, I can play it that way. But whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Either way, this doesn't worry me for now. We'll have to come back to it. But yeah, as for the game itself, they showed off a bunch of like CG trailers that Sega has released over the years for all the different episodes of Phantasy Star Online 2. I'll just call it PSO2, that's a bit of a mouthful. And yeah, it's all stuff that I have seen in bits before, but now it's in this big comprehensive trailer, and they're going to be apparently releasing all of it at once for us, because you guys got to keep in mind, alright, Phantasy Star Online 2 is huge. It is a massive fucking game in Japan, both in terms of the size of the game itself and how many users it's got, right? It is really, really big, okay? And ever since it came out, you know, it's been a free-to-play game. It supported itself on, like, cross-advertisements with, like, animes and other games. Little ads that you get in the loading screens. And other little micro-transaction-y stuff, you know. From what I can tell, I don't hear anything too bad about it. Mind you, it's not out here in English, so maybe, considering how the times have changed and how we accept microtransactions in video games, that opinion might change when viewed for a Western perspective. But I don't hear much about it in any case. I don't know, is the honest answer. But yeah, it's always been like that since it was first like released in 2012, and which incidentally was the year that it was announced to be coming out in English. Okay, yeah, it was announced to be coming out in English in 2012. Sega was actually being like, you know, kind of cute in a little cheeky sort of way. They were actually reposting and retweeting various tweets and articles from, you know, 7 fucking years ago when they thought they were going to be announcing Phantasy Star, when they thought they were going to be releasing, Phantasy Star Online 2. And yeah, it was like, yep, you definitely kept us waiting, didn't you, Sega? You bastards. And but yeah, this game, this is like, I'm just gonna get into it right here, guys. This is as happy as I am, this is a weird announcement. Like, really weird. I mean, again, this game is really old, almost a decade, okay? It's not exactly going to be the most, like, technologically advanced game. It's not going to have, like, the best graphics out there, for sure, because it's running on such an old engine. And it's coming out at a time where I assumed, anyway, maybe I'm wrong here, I kind of got the impression that Phantasy Star Online 2 was dying in Japan, you know? Not to say that it's failing or whatever, but again, the game's been around since 2012. I believe that it's outlasted Phantasy Star Online 1 and Phantasy Star Universe. I'd have to go back and double check the numbers, but it's had a good run for MMO standards, as far as I can tell. Any MMO that isn't like, you know, fucking World of Warcraft or whatever. So yeah, I had that impression, but no, it's coming out in the West. It's getting that extra like juice of life. Ooh, air. Anyway, yeah, it's like getting this sort of chance. I can't help but feel this was all down to Microsoft's influence. Okay, some pictures were like sort of like floating about of Sega and Microsoft meeting up. Absolutely nothing was like said about it. This must have been one of the like fruits of those meetings, right? And I guess Microsoft, they get, because it's apparently going to be Xbox and PC exclusive in the West, I guess they get to have like a cool little MMO that's been very much desired. I think they probably thought that the game would have the same sort of like impact as something like Shenmue 3 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake of The Last Guardian, you know, one of those like impossible games that wouldn't come out for ages and now is, you know. And I don't know if it's quite got that level of legacy, but, you know, for most Sega fans like myself, it certainly does. But, yeah, I guess they're helping out with this. The whole game's going to be up on Azure. I'm a software developer myself. I know all too well about fucking Azure. And, yeah, it's going to be very much integrated with those guys. I can't help but feel Microsoft maybe... They obviously looked at the success of something like Monster Hunter World, which in a lot of ways is very similar to Phantasy Star. I'm definitely not a big Monster Hunter aficionado. I know it's massive in Japan and it's just recently become massive in the West, literally becoming fucking Capcom's best-selling game ever, like in their entire history, which is insane. I guess it just shows that there are people out there that dig that sort of like partying up semi-MMO style game. Well, PSO2 is an MMO, but still, maybe they're just like going for that. But can this like fairly old game capture that same sort of magic? I don't know. But at the same time, really, and I was actually tweeting about this before, that very Sunday that this got announced, I finished for the first time Phantasy Star Online Episode 2. Not to be confused with Phantasy Star Online 2. Episode 2 was released on like the GameCube and the Xbox. It ran on the Phantasy Star Online engine. I finally played that. It was really good. And then this comes out and it's crazy. Yeah, I just... where the fuck was I going with that? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I'm real pleased regardless, guys. Like, genuinely. I mean... I can see the sort of... I do definitely see some people being a bit jaded about it. You know, it's like, you know, Sega, they announced it years ago and then they kind of left us hung out to dry. And apparently, like, past Phantasy Star, particularly Phantasy Star Universe, was really bad keeping up with, like, content when it came to Phantasy Star Universe. You know, America, Europe and all that would get different updates way behind the Japanese. Plus, the Xbox version of the game was separated from the PC and PS2 versions of the game. It was just, like, quite a mess. Hopefully, this doesn't repeat. Okay, the trailer already confirmed that we're getting all the content that the Japanese currently have. Apparently, there was, like, clips of Episode 6, I believe, in the trailer. I might be wrong on that. I'm not completely up on the episodes present in Phantasy Star Online 2. But, yeah, potentially. This could be like a good thing. And I also really hope, excuse me, that sometime down the line, we get like a physical version, which is just like the story content on the disc, you know, that doesn't rely on being like online to enjoy it. I don't know if that's in the cards, but hopefully it does happen. But yeah, I've just remembered what I was talking about. There is definitely a bit of jadedness surrounding this because we've waited so long, and because of the other, the fact that it's not announced for Europe right now. It's also not going to be on PlayStation consoles. And yeah, it's a really weird sort of like mixed reception in an era where, in my opinion, Sega has really just been on fire recently. No, genuinely, they have been, okay? I know I talk about Sega a lot on this channel. They're just kind of like my favorite company that I talk about a lot. But I swear to God, guys, the reason I talk about Sega a lot is because they are doing so many good things right now, okay? In fact, I remember back in like 2012, that was like the last time I was in a sort of like following Sega and everything that they do mode. In fact, the cancellation of Phantasy Star Online 2 was one of the reasons that I kind of like went out of that phase. But now I'm currently back into it because, I could talk here for ages about all the great stuff Sega's been doing the past 2 or 3 years that I've really enjoyed. But I'll save that for now. But yeah, Phantasy Star, it's back. It's coming. Phantasy Star never was a franchise that Sega left alone. I know to us here in the West, it definitely feels like that. We got thrown a bone with the Sega Ages version of Phantasy Star for the Switch. But now we're getting this, and it just feels like Phantasy Star, yeah, it's here to stay in the West as well, almost, I really hope we get other Phantasy Star related, like, games out of this. This is obviously a big step in the right direction, but I'm ready for, like, the next step for the series, okay? In whatever form that takes, be it single player or more online content, whatever. Phantasy Star, one of my favorite franchises, super happy that it's out. Yeah, what do you guys think? I don't know. This is just it still feels like so weird that I live in a world now where Phantasy Star Online 2 is coming out in English. It's just mental, and I will definitely be playing a lot of it. Got a while to wait though, and that is of course provided that it comes out in Europe. Seriously, Sega, Microsoft, don't make me go through that feeling of loss twice, okay? I already went through it in 2013, don't do it again. Anyway, that's that, guys. Let me know what you think about this. See you after. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.